Hello YouTubers, this is a piece of wood I'm going to be using for the project this week. It is, I think, a piece of eckie. I turned a bowl a few weeks ago from an old railway sleeper, and when I did some research on it, it said that they use this wood. It is a sustainable hardwood. It's called a zobe or a zobe, eckie or red ironwood, and it's used for railway sleepers, and because it's resistant to damp, they use it a lot for sea defences. And that is where this piece of wood come from. A friend of mine, they're renewing all the sea defences down on the south coast, and he said this was a piece of wood that came out. I've had it for about 2 years. It's dried out now. It has cracked quite badly. I'm going to have to dress those when I do it. But it's incredibly heavy, very dense, and if it's the same as that railway sleeper, this can be very hard to turn, because it is an abrasive wood, believe it or not. I've never heard of that before, and it blunts the tools quick as you like. So the first thing I do, I'm going to get that over onto the bandsaw and cut it, and I'm going to cut it square. I turn the bowl in the middle and have these as wings coming out on either side. I'm going to have a look, see what the best side is. As I say, cut it into a square. I'll get back to it. On the bandsaw, I've got most of the cracks are on this side, so I'm going to put the bowl in there. And hopefully I should lose most of those because it's quite firm on the other side. The first thing I need to do is find the centre. And just fix my faceplate. What I'll do is just put one screw in, get it started, and put the rest in. So, as you can see, I've got this set up in the lathe now. I've got a faceplate on the other side. I have brought my tailstock up just for added support, and I am cutting this with carbide tip tools. These are quite a new acquisition for me, but I did find when I turned the railway sleeper that these carbide tip tools do cut a lot better than what the high-speed steel tools do. I find the high-speed steel tools, they blunt very quickly, but these just seem to go on and on forever. This was a very long process, and I've put this on 6 times normal speed just to flick through, because otherwise it's be quite a very long and boring video otherwise. So you can see on there's like a thick brown line. You see where the bottom of the bowl's been turned, and this I'm just showing with I'm putting the Sharpie on there, and I just want to show you pretty much the shape that I want to turn out on the wings, just to give it that like an oriental sort of pagoda look. So all that's left for me to do now is just to continue putting the final shaping on the bottom of the bowl, and to just go in now and just give that a light undercut underneath those wings. This is very difficult to do because you can't actually see what you're turning, and you really have to rely on touch. But as you can see there, I've got quite a nice undercut underneath those wings. Pretty much outside the bowl shaped as I want it, and what I need to do now is put a recess in there, ready for when I turn that around. And what I'm going to do is use my medium set of jewels for that one. Now I just need to sand that down. From there to there I can do while the lathe is spinning, which will be quite easy. All this I'm going to have to do by hand, just take that away. And when I say by hand, what I mean is put something in an electric drill. I'll get back to you once I've done that. Oh, there we go, that's all sanded down. I have to say that's come up quite beautiful. That's fantastic shine on there already. Let's see what a bit of sand sealer will do to it. Gorgeous. I'm going to have to be very careful when I'm polishing this, because I can't get any further than that So I go any further than that, I'm going to start coming through here, and that's going to come round, and that's going to try and bite me. So I'm going to go through there. As soon as I go over there, bang. Right, it's now for a bit of wax. All those bits in there I'll just do with I'll put a mop, when I've finished I'll put a mop in the chuck, and I'll just polish those bits by hand. Look at the shine on that. That really is quite exceptional. Little tip, there's quite a crack running through there, and the wax is sat down on there, and as that dries out that'll go a horrible white colour. Just get a heat gun and go over it. Just see that just disappears. Where that comes across the grain there, that is absolutely gorgeous. That's unbelievable. Right, let's turn around and start hollowing. And then hollowing, I'll carry on with the carbide tip tools. Well, that was me having a catch. Two reasons for this. One, I didn't present the tool to the wood properly, and the other was my chucking point on the back of the bowl was nowhere near deep enough. This does happen again later on in the video, but I will show you how I rectify it. It is such a hard wood, it really is quite unforgiving. So this is a bit where it starts to get a little bit dodgy, because that bowl, as I hollow it, that should come down there and follow that curve down there. So I'm taking a lot of wood away from there, because at the same time it will be taking wood away from there, and that thickness of that line there will tell me what the thickness of my bowl is there. So that from there to there is pretty much that is. So I'm starting to take wood away from there, which is going to seriously weaken that. And you can see on there I filled those two cracks with super glue, so hopefully that'll be enough to hold it together. There's quite a big crack there. I've also got quite a large crack running down through there, which I might have to address first. I think otherwise I might lose that. Right, let's get back and turn some of that way. I'll start breaking through the edge of that bowl now and start coming around there. So what happened there, I had a catch. This wood works so hard, it's very unforgiving. I haven't had a catch for years, but that's the second one there. You can see in there where the catch happened, come around there, and then it caught around there, and that's what caused that to go flying out the bowl. So what I've done is I've gone in there, I've marked the size of my jaws, and I've recut a chucking point on there, and now I've turned that around and I've made my chucking point on the other side much deeper. I normally just put a shallow chucking point on there, it's the same as I do with any other bowl. Obviously this is not enough. As I say, I made the chucking point deeper, and so it should give me a better grip on the bowl. You see on there now, you see that profile. It's just beginning to take that edge of that wood away there. You see that profile there, just starting to curve in, just following the shape of that bowl there. Right, I finally got there. And that has exhausted me. That's such hard work. I want to curve these edges over. I should really do it on the lathe, but I'm frightened to because I think they're going to chip off. So I'm just going to gently sand that away, just to give it a bit of a curve. I'll sand that away by hand. I've got to sand all the inside down, and I'll sand up all of these edges on there. So I've got to sand all these faces off on there, and I've got to sand that. This is what I was saying before about with the grain. It cuts quite well. Across the grain, that's really chipped quite badly there. So that'll take quite a bit of sanding to get that out. Obviously all those sides will be sanded, and then that, I'll just sand that edge away, just to curve down there. I didn't go as thin as I'd like. I'd like to have gone a lot thinner than that, but I've chickened out. The amount of times I've had wood on here and I thought just one more cut, just one more cut, just one more cut, and the next thing you know it's flying all across the workshop. So I'll get and sand all that down and I'll get back to you. Well, it's all sanded now. I've sanded it down to 600. It took me simply ages to do that, and what I'm going to do now is just go in with some denatured alcohol just to go over there and clean all of the dust out of the pores. I did notice I should have done that when I did the back, and I noticed when I put the sander sealer on I did have a lot of dust come off on the cloth. That does stop it getting such a good shine, so if you can get all that dust off, because it doesn't reflect the light as nice, so you don't get such a good shine. So the more you can get out, the better. Also gives you a little pre-glimpse of what a lovely shine that's going to come on there. So that's all done. Such a hot day then in the workshop today. It didn't take long for that to go off. So now we're going in with the sander sealer. Just give this a quick coat. Just going again, I'm just going with a grain, just trying to get if there's any residue of any dust particles left in that grain, that should come out with that. And now with the polish. This wood does shine up beautiful. A lot of that, the wings, the sides, and the underneath of the wings, I'll do all that very shortly with a mop. But the main piece I'm just going to do as I normally do, just apply the wax and then just buff it up with a cloth and just make sure I keep my fingers well away from the edge. So I've taken the chuck off and I've put my Jacob's chuck on with my mop, and the bits that I couldn't reach just now, I'm going to mop now. Well, I've just got all the outside pieces to do now. I'll get back to you once I've done that. Well, here we go, YouTubers. One piece of red ironwood, and I have to say that was really hard work, but well worth it. What a beautiful looking bowl. That is absolutely gorgeous. I would have liked to take it down a little bit thinner on that profile there, and I think if that was a piece of ash or a piece of beech, something like that, I certainly would have given it a go, because I've got a shed full of ash and beech. But this is a one-off piece of wood, and I really didn't want to risk going any thinner and losing it, because that, I'm so pleased with that. Look at the shine on that, it's unbelievable. And the gold flakes in there, that's like little pieces of gold sitting there. Absolutely beautiful colours, colour variation in that. Beautiful. It's one piece of wood, come from Africa, went down onto our cedar fences and sat there for the last 30-40 years and ended up in my workshop. And they do reckon that because it spent so long on the seashore, they reckon if you put it up to your ear, you can actually hear the tide coming in. No, nothing. But even so, glorious piece of wood. But I think next thing I would turn is going to be the softest piece of wood I can find in my workshop. Okay, well, I've been Steve Hull. I've had a great day down there. Hard work, but a really good day. Well worth it. I'm so pleased with that bowl. I really am. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I'll put some stills up at the end. And I will see you all again next week. You take care of yourself. Bye bye.